I'm heading out, man. You want to ride?
No, I got my car, but I actually really need to go to the bathroom.
Dude, are you okay?
I am definitely buzzed.
Yeah.
I think I will take this, and I will take that ride home.
The tit, the most unassuming of bird species. The tit is from a large family of small passerine birds which mainly occur in the northern hemisphere. Members of this family are commonly referred to as tits throughout much of the English-speaking world. These birds are mainly small, stocky, woodland species. Some have crests or beards. Just like another animal, the Alba commune pine, they range from 4 to 8 inches. Many species live around human habitation and come readily for nuts or seed, and learn to take other foods. This message was presented by the DeWeather Institute for Climate Knowledge. The DeWeather Cares Knights Tits Kickball Tournament is coming this October and benefits 4 cancer-related charities. See DeWeather Center on Facebook for more information.
If there's one thing every car guy hates, it's cleaning the garage. Do you want to take most of the time and hassle out of that job? Then call Zone Garage of Eastern Pennsylvania and New Jersey. Agnes and her crew will have your garage, shop, basement, or even your porch looking great all the time. With unique patterns and designs, plus the ability to incorporate your logo or any artwork, your space will never have looked better. Installation is done in 1 day, guaranteed, and Zone Garage offers a 20-year warranty on the top coat. Their coatings are durable, anti-slipped, and impact resistant. Give them a call at 570-856-6067. That's 570-856-6067 for Zone Garage of Eastern Pennsylvania and New Jersey.
I'm Ryan Newman, and since I started with Indiana Donor Network and Driven to Save Lives, I found out that some people think that they can't be an organ donor. The truth is, anyone can sign up to be an organ donor.
Anyone?
Anyone?
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. Anyone can sign up to be an organ donor. So don't count yourself out because somebody's counting on you. Go to driventosavelives.org and sign up today.
But my heart's going to you, Ryan.
Love that shirt.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Worldwide Technology Raceway at Gateway. And tonight, the stars and cars of the Indy Pro 2000 Championship will take on the artist formerly known as Gateway. My name is Chris Graham with the National Racing Network. Pleasure to be joined in the booth this week, as always, by James Watson, and making a one-off appearance back with us here, Mr. Sebastian Kinder. What's going on, gentlemen? What are you thinking here as we head into tonight's race at Gateway?
Oh, I am hoping for a repeat of either Iowa in this series a couple weeks ago or the TNT finale, because either of those races were absolutely incredible to watch from flag to flag. So if we can keep that again, oh man, this is gonna be a barn burner.
Yeah, this one I think is going to be a ton of fun here, and you'll see the qualifying times come up at the bottom of your screen here. We'll pick up the car of Frank Wynn as he makes his way down the back straightaway. And I tell you what here, Sebastian, we watched a pretty good race out of the NTT IndyCar Series here 1 week ago, or just this past weekend, at least once they got to racing anyway. This is a uniquely different challenge, though, for the PM18s.
You know, this track is a bit like Darlington. You know, it's an egg-shaped oval, a 1.25-mile oval. So with two very different corners for very different configuration, this is where the driver's skill will come in. I would say this is the closest to road course. Maybe that explains why Romain Grosjean was such a badass that race and just tried to show people out of the way.
There may be something to be said for that here as J.W. Miller moves to the top of the speed charts. We'll pick him up here as he works lap number 2.
Huh. Wait. Why is James Watson in there? What are those horrible colors? Oh. Yeah.
Well, the cat's out of the bag. JW is officially joined Team Watson Racing, and he decided to make the announcement running that beautiful, beautiful, beautiful color scheme. Shut up, Seb.
Beautiful quote unquote.
Yes, we can put big fat air quotes around that one. J.W. Miller is the driver with the second highest I rating. The top one belongs to Jason Owens, piloting the number 87. Jason, absolutely an oval ringer. He's made some more road course starts this season, but we'll see what he's going to be able to do here with the Riley Children's Foundation Extra Life number 87. James Allen going to be third quick on the board. Frank Wynn, Jason Steinhurst rounding out your top 5. Also on track right now, Nagisa Yashikawa, Mike Gosler, Zach Hudson, Bless Lopez coming in after one lap. Jason Owens' first lap going to be a 31.82, about 2/10 off the quick time of J.W. Miller. Everett Paddock and Greg Seitz also both getting out on the racetrack. We'll pick up Seitz here as he makes his way through turn number 1. He has clinched the iRacing Indy Pro 2000 Championship here for 2021 Season 3. 1,450 points is his current total. In 8 weeks, he's got 32 starts, 26 wins, 30 top 5s, 25 poles, and he's led 639 of a possible 941 laps. About 2/3 of the total laps completed. Goes purple in the first half of the racetrack. We'll see what he's going to do here through the turns 3 and 4 end of the racetrack. Fabio Berchtold is actually second in points right now, sitting at 1,085. Almost 400 points back. New quick time, top of the board. Greg Seitz, 31.63. Everett Paddock jumps up to second quick, 31.658 seconds. No surprise to see those two at the top of the board. Jason Owens jumps up to third, 31.673. How about 5 cars within 1/10 of a second or so of each other? Actually, let's correct that and say 9 within a quarter second as Seitz goes even faster. Oh, my goodness.
Oh my goodness me.
31.444 seconds for Greg Seitz on lap number 2. That was ridiculous. That whole deal about whole deal about a bunch of cars being within a couple tenths of each other, we'll throw it out the window because Seitz just went a quarter of a second faster than the rest of the field.
Weird. I thought that on the ovals, Greg Seitz wouldn't be as overpowered, but I mean, I guess I was right saying that this was kind of a road course for ovals.
Let's see if we can sneak in a quick word here with Jason Owens. Jason, you put up a heck of a lap there, and then Greg Seitz decided to do Greg Seitz things late.
Yeah, you know how it is, man. Like he's been great this week. I've had a couple races where I've lost to him by less than a tenth at the line. I really like my set. I'm running a little bit higher downforce than some of these guys. If we get some restarts where I'm right behind Greg, you may see me pass him for the first lap or two, but he'll get back by me. There's going to be some really close, tight racing. We got a split, so we got a little bit smaller field. It's going to be fun out there tonight, guys.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. So thank you very much for checking in here. Hopefully we're talking to you again.
What?
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to ask Jason, are you going to try to break out the bump and run this time?
If I have a chance, I have zero qualms about using it. So we'll see. It's a little bit tougher to bump and run Greg Seitz than about anybody else in this car. So let's just see if we can get there first.
All right, there you go. There's Jason Owens. Let's get you the starting grid for tonight's 50-lap feature event. Greg Seitz Your pole sitter by 0.2 of a second over Everett Paddock. Jason Owens, J.W. Miller on row number 2. Mike Holler, James Allen on row 3. Andy Corsa and Frank Wynn on row number 4. Jason Steinhurst, Nagisa Yashikawa on row 5. Simon Fell and Mike Gosler going to occupy row number 6 as the field rolls off here this evening. Row number 7, Zach Hudson and Bless Lopez. 27 cars total on the entry list. So as you heard Jason Owens mention, we did have a split here this evening. Going to make the field a little bit tighter here. And I would imagine it probably, the drivers are assuming potentially a little bit less carnage at the back of the pack here, I would think, James.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. Gateway can be a little unpredictable, and they're going to be so close into 1 and 2, and if you're not careful, it could really catch you out, because it gets really tight on the exit of turn 2, so if everyone's not careful, we can see a huge melee coming onto the back straightaway.
Take a look at the weather conditions here, presented by our friends at the Weather Center. Offensively accurate weather for eastern Pennsylvania. 82-degree temperature, 53% humidity. Wind's going to be basically out of the north at 11 miles an hour. 83-degree track temperature. Definitely going to be a bit of a warm night here. The action's only going to get hotter as we go. You'll see the pace car make that hard left-hand turn onto the pit road. No pit stops tonight, no backup cars. And as always, race fans, the start of this one is going to be all yours. Lap number 1 going to go in the books cleanly, and it will be Greg Seitz holding on to the lead over Everett Paddock. Tucked up tight in the draft, Jason Owens, J.W. Miller, Mike Holler, all going to be there. Couple of cars way wide up to the outside. Nagisa Yashikawa down to the inside. James Allen trying to get that pass made on the outside. James Allen being very aggressive here on the start, coming around Nagisa Yashikawa. Thought about having a look inside of Mike Holler down the front stretch. Holler now going to look to the inside of J.W. Miller into turn 1.
And that worked.
This is about as close to a pack race as you're going to get without the pack actually forming up, it seems like. The draft is so strong, you really need to be able to work it to your advantage, just like we see Jason Owens doing here down the front straightaway. May have to tuck back in line.
Yeah, this track works with these cars so well because, as you said, the draft and then the aero wash isn't as bad as it is on other places. So you can really... Oh my, oh no, oh god. I gotta say, seeing my car basically in amongst a pack of craziness, really tough to watch right now. Anyways, yeah, so you can really tuck up behind another car and make passes really easily if you got the skill and the right setup. You just have to pick your moments because, as we saw with JW a little bit ago, if you try to make a move on the bottom and you can't make it stick, you're gonna get freight trained. And JW lost this good 2 or 3 spots because of that.
Here's Jason Owens looking to the inside of Everett Paddock. The cars can get a little bit snap oversteer twitchy here. Here's Mike Holler. He thought about trying to make that 3 wide down the front straightaway. J.W. Miller going to get tucked up right in behind Owens into 1.
Now remember, Jason said to us that he had more downforce on his car. If he's alone without draft, he's going to be a sitting duck.
Yeah, we're seeing a little bit of that here. James Allen able to really fight back hard on the outside of the racetrack. You wonder how long it was going to take for these cars to file out 2 by 2. I would imagine at some point you sort of have to tuck in line. 3-wide battle for the lead into 1.
Oh,
They made it through!
wow.
Wow, Everett Paddock. My man.
What a pass by Everett Paddock into 1.
Oh.
Can we just point out the stones it took for Mike Holler to make it 3 wide on freaking Everett Paddock and Greg Seitz right there, and to get a momentarily at least get 1 spot from that?
Oh,
that
and
was something. Oh, we're going 3 wide again.
Welcome to the freeway, Central Kid. One mistake is your doom. Yeah, gotta pull the bulls back.
How about 13 cars all running basically nose to tail in 1 pack? Seeing trouble for Simon Fell. He came down pit lane, not seeing that he was passed by anybody. Take a look here. Get you the Hot Shoe Racer instant replay. See if we can see what happened to Simon here. There's Simon Fell out towards the back of the pack here. He just got out of it. Seems like, oh, yeah, he's got a front wing torn off.
Yeah, significant front wing damage right there.
Probably a bumps that ended not well, or... Now, guys, each time on this main stretch, I'm always like, are they going to go 3 wide?
This is definitely hold your breath kind of racing the entire way around here. Is J.W. Miller going to make a look to the inside of Mike Holler?
Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but that outside lane seems pretty strong to me. Just like when Grosjean used it to overtake a bunch of people.
Oh, contact! Greg Seitz is into the wall!
And Jason Owens!
Huge trouble at the back of the pack. Several cars going to be involved. Greg Seitz will be out of this race early. Oh, my goodness. That number 8 machine, the number 9, is junk. 3 tires torn off of that machine. Frank Wynn, Mike Gosler, Bless Lopez, all on the pit lane as well.
Oh, so that was Frank. I'm sorry. I thought that was Jason Owens.
Time to break out the Hot Shoe Racewear instant replays here. Keep your eye on the entry to turn number 1. J.W. Miller got a big run, looked down to the inside. I don't know if there was contact there or not, but a huge hit in the outside retaining wall for Greg Seitz.
No, sadly it was netcode, Chris. It was netcode. If you see another angle, you'll see the car not touching.
Go on board here with Seitz. Get a look, see what happened on the entrance to turn number 1. That was a massive hit. One more look here. Let's get it from a little bit different angle here. See, actually, that was the same angle we had before. So let's give it to you from a different angle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were a huge netcode issue. Unfortunate that that's going to take Greg Seitz out of the race here, but I tell you what, guys, that about changes the complexion of this race in as huge of a way as you possibly can. Greg Seitz is now out of this one. Frank Wynn, who is also very quick, is out. Also, even a guy like Mike Gosler, who we've seen run a lot in the TNT PM18 series that only runs on ovals. Mike's no slouch either on the ovals here in the PM18s.
Yeah, it's cool to see. It was cool to see Mike up there mixing it up. Unfortunately, the netcode gods were not kind to a number of folks there.
Yeah.
I also got a feel for Frank too. It's the first time we've seen him in a while on the Thursday night race. Sucks for his return to end up like that. He was great for Simon though. He was able to get back caught up to the field after getting his wing replaced.
This race could have pretty big implications as well in terms of the championship standings. Greg Seitz was running away with it. However, it was a tie for second between Fabio Berchtold and Mitch Green. Frank Wynn on 8 points back in the fourth position. Everett Paddock was, I guess, about 40 points back of Frank. But if Everett Paddock can pull off a win here in a big strength of field race, that really could propel him forward here in the point standings.
So now, guys, place your bet. Who's going to win?
I'm putting my money on JW, and I am completely and utterly biased on that. I'm not ashamed to admit it.
Of course you are. Of course you are.
You know what? This is now a race where I think it really does play into the hands of drivers that have a little bit more experience on the ovals. J.W. Miller, Jason Owens, those kind of guys. I'll go with Jason here on this one. But, man, it is so hard to discount a guy like Everett Paddock, Mike Holler. They are so darn good out front here.
And since it's a pack race, it can be anyone's game. You just need the right positioning at the right time.
Will most certainly be an interesting watch here as we get down towards the end of this thing. Check in the comments here. John Dinkle actually checking in as we get ready to go back to green a few minutes ago. Already wish I could be on track tonight. Gateway is such a good track, and ovals and IP2K is always amazing. Also asking, saying Holler in second feels like a Russell in the points situation. So we'll see the pace car come in here at lap number 15. We'll get ready to go back to green flag racing. Everett Paddock brings the field down fairly slow. They're going to be pretty well stretched out here as they get to turn number 1. Top 5 all separated by multiple car lengths, but it won't stay that way for long.
Relying on the Colton Herta restart strategy. Bold move.
Yes, back everybody up and wad them up at the back of the field.
Ooh, Jason Owens, I think he's trying to pull a move on JW.
Yeah, there he is, down to the inside, into 3. Owens looks like he's going to get him clear, but Miller's going to have a little bit of drafting help from the front, at least a little bit of a pull anyway. Battle just ahead of them as well. This is the fight for second position. Mike Holler and James Allen. That fight's going to stay side by side, and it's going to suck those cars right up onto their rear wings.
No, this is what Everett wants to see, like guys not working together and fighting each other's positions.
The lead already out to a half second for Everett Paddock over Mike Holler. Not going to take very many laps of single file racing for these cars to get all packed back up again, though. Seeing Valerie Gravel checking in the comments, saying, rooting for you, Holler.
Interesting. Mike takes a wider entry into the corners than James Allen.
Allen got a good run down the back straightaway. He's going to look to the inside, and they're getting caught back up to race leader Everett Paddock. Side-by-side battle for the second position off of turns 3 and 4. Lap number 20 go up on the scoreboard, rapidly approaching the halfway point. Give it to Mike Holler at the line. Holler looks to the inside of race leader Everett Paddock into 3. Paddock, well, I thought he was going to lose the drafting help. Here's J.W. Miller outside of Jason Owens as well. Holler has to tuck back in line.
Oh, we got ourselves a race now.
All right, back to the hornet's nest. Ooh.
A blanket around the top 6. Let's go. Oh, now it's getting 7. Andy Corsa catching up.
I want to race, James. I want to race.
Man, that was a big moment for James Allen. He almost got it up into the outside wall. Nagisa Yashikawa getting caught back up here, and he didn't lose a lap in that. So Yashikawa running a true 5th position here, battling with Jason Owens and J.W. Miller. This is definitely starting to get the feel of you have to set the run up almost a lap or 2 in advance if you're going to try to make the pass. Because if the run stalls out at the end of the straightaway, you're just an absolute sitting duck to everybody else on the outside.
Ooh.
Yeah, this is really... It's perfect that real-life NASCAR is at Daytona right now because you're kind of having to run this in a similar way of trying to time everything. Try to get yourself in the best position you can and get yourself where you can time the run you need right when you need to make that move.
Yashikawa back to the inside of Jason Owens. Off at turn 2. James Allen looking inside of Mike Holler into 3. Interesting that you don't get a huge toe off the car in front of you. Like when you see Paddock and Allen down to the inside in 3 and 4, Mike Holler's running a higher line to the outside. Oh, we're going to battle for the lead! Oh, man, there may have been some contact there. Mike Holler shoots way up or Everett Paddock shoots way up the racetrack. New race leader Mike Holler off at 2. Side-by-side battle between Paddock and Allen.
Grosjean style. I can't believe I call a move on oval Grosjean style. That is suddenly weird to me.
Cross flags are up halfway home here in the Indy Pro 2000 Championship at Gateway. Back to being 3 wide. Everett Paddock going to fall back to the 4th position. Jason Owens left out to dry down on the inside. Paddock going to be able to come back around him to the outside. Here comes James Allen, but Owens not going quietly into that good night. He stays inside of Paddock off of 4.
They should be careful with Paddock because earlier there was some contact with Mike Holler, but there wasn't their car weren't anywhere near. And it seems like Everett's connection may not be as great as it seems because I think he's blinked like quite a few times already.
Thought we were going to have a fight for the race lead here. It's going to be a battle for second now. Mike Holler on the inside, James Allen on the outside. Holler able to hold on to the race lead down the front straightaway. At the line, going to be Holler, Paddock, Allen, Owens, and Miller. What a move by Paddock, going outside in. Crossover move to the inside into turn number 1. Owens making it 3 wide down the back straightaway. Oh, a little bit of a bobble there for Owens.
Oh, he caught too much of that curb and just unsettled the car just that little bit.
Here comes JW.
What a fantastic race so far here at Worldwide Technology Raceway. Give it a like and a share if you're enjoying the racing action. This one has been a ton of fun so far.
Just still pretty wide. No, not anymore.
Still going to be side by side for a second, though. Jason Owens pulls out a line. He's going to make it 3 wide to the inside into 1.
Oh.
What a move by Jason Owens. He's going to jump up to the second position. He slides wide off the corner.
Oh, not quite.
Allie going to fight back to the inside. There's still 3 wide.
Everett was
Insane.
just able to keep the wing right there. He just couldn't clear.
Even with all this dueling, Mike Holler's only out to about a 6/10 of a second advantage, but down to 20 laps to go. You're going to have to start thinking about getting in line to get caught back up here. If they're still racing like this and it's a half-second gap at 10 to go, may not be enough time to get there.
Yeah, this is usually when this situation when I'm racing this spot style. Oh, here comes Jason Owens. This is where I'm kind of getting mad at people who just aren't staying like in line. Just like, come on, it's not the time to fight. It's the time to work together to catch back the guys in front.
So Jason Owens holding on to that second position. Everett Paddock going to get a good run off of 4. We'll see what he's going to be able to do with it here. Owens blocks the line just a little bit. James Allen thought about ducking inside as well. They're going to have to work on getting caught up here because the gap's up to 3/4 of a second now.
As soon as they lose the draft, it's game over.
Get the gaps up on the screen here for you. 7/10 of a second now back to Jason Owens, but that gap is shrinking, and you can see it about 1/10.5 per lap. And obviously that all gets blown up if we see another caution flag. Everett Paddock falling back now to the 6th position. Going to be behind J.W. Miller side by side with Andy Corsa into 3. Good run for Andy here tonight. He's been that green and white and black car right at the back of your screen the whole race. Go ahead there, Seb.
Yeah, I was saying that James was trying to overtake Jason. This is what I mentioned. Like, unless you're absolutely sure you're going to overtake the car in front, do not disturb the pace of train, because your objective is not to fight for position. Like, your objective right now is to catch the guy in front.
Well, it's definitely happening because the gap is down to 4/10 of a second now. Mike Holler is going to get some help from lap traffic here with the tow just a little bit. Nagisa Ashikawa slides high. Owens going to have to pull down to the inside. They get around the lap car of Mike Gosler. J.W. Miller, Nagisa Ashikawa, Everett Paddock all fighting. This is the battle for the 5th position. The gap's staying pretty constant at about 2/10 of a second here. Big run off the corner for Everett Paddock. He's going to look to the inside of J.W. Miller. Here comes Andy Corsa. He's going to have a big run. How about 3 wide again into 1? Oh, Corsa thought better of it. Backs out. The lead now down to, well, it was in the 3/10 of a second range. And Jason Owens is going to be able to start to feel the pull now. Inside of 0.3 of a second. They're going to do it again. 3 wide off at turn number 4.
Oh my god. Ooh. Nah, I wouldn't be able to so confidently close the door like that.
Jason Owens is right there. He's going to have a peek out to the inside, trying to get around Mike Holler for the race lead.
Great move.
See if he's going to be able to slide up the racetrack, stall the momentum of Holler down the straightaway. He does. Lap number 40 goes up on the scoreboard. Here comes James Allen to the inside. Fight for the race lead is hot and heavy, and they're going to catch some lap traffic here late in this race. Holler back to the inside. Owens able to keep it wound up on the high side of the racetrack. James Allen going to be right there as well. Couple of outstretched palms from the flag stand. 10 to go here at Gateway. Jason Owens continues to run that middle line. Almost looked like Holler grabbed the brakes a little bit there, right on the entry to 3, trying to set the big run up. Seeing again that connection issue popping up for Everett Paddock.
All right, so the 14 just told the other drivers that he's going to go low when they'll catch him.
Well, there's definitely going to be another lap car that comes into play as well. He gets way down to the inside retaining wall. Holler tried to get up there, get a little bit of a draft off him anyway. Nothing there. The lead's going to be 3 car lengths into turn 1. Called about the same thing off of turn number 2. Once again, lap traffic staying clear of the race leaders. But this has closed everybody right back up again.
Oh, we're back to the hornet's nest.
J.W. Miller just set the fastest lap of the race at a 31.2 second lap. And he did it out of the 6th position. Side by side, Nagisa Ashikawa, Everett Paddock, J.W. Miller staying tucked close in line here. At some point, the big move's going to come at the front, and it's really going to open the door for everybody else.
Oh, here comes Nagisa.
Ashikawa had a little bit of a bobble there, mid-corner. The lead's out to a 1/4 of a second for Jason Owens. Do you almost have to worry about letting the lead get to be too big? If you're in Owens' seat, do you think about maybe dragging the brake a little bit, just knowing you're going to have that extra speed in tow if you need it?
Yeah. Oh, wow, Everett. Big blink.
Here's Miller down to the inside. Paddock slides up the racetrack. J.W. Miller forces him a little bit higher, a little bit of right side romance there possibly. Andy Corsa thought about making it 4 wide, side by side for a second. James Allen inside on Mike Holler. 5 now, 4 laps to go here at Gateway. We are in for a spectacular finish.
Now, James, which position do you want to be in? The hunted or the hunter?
I mean, Jason does have a bit of an advantage here because clean air is king in these cars. You can make runs and you can make passes, but it's a lot harder to set something up in these cars. So being up at the front is where I would want to be.
Let's also not forget that there is no green-white checkered rule in this series. So if the caution flag comes out for an incident back in the pack, race is going to be over, and Jason Owens would claim the win on it. The fight's pretty good at the back of the pack, but we're going to stay right here with your race leaders. Once again, Mike Holler, little bit of brakes on the entry to corner number 3.
He's waiting. He is biding his time. He's got something cooking.
Oh,
I mean, does Jason Owens feel like the oven's on and the duck's about to be roast here? He makes the big move to the inside, trying to break the drift. Here comes James Allen to the outside of Mike Holler. Gotta fall back in line. It was twin sticks last time. One white flag this time by 1 to go. Here's the big move for Mike Holler down to the inside. We'll see if Owens is going to be able to fight back. Owens is not going to go quietly. Owens back to the lead. They almost make contact down the backstretch. Here comes James Allen into corner number 3. He's going to make the big look down to the inside. Owens able to chop the block off of turn number 4. It's going to take a massive run down the stretch, and it won't happen. Checkered flag is out. Jason Owens wins at Gateway.
wow.
What a finish. James Allen comes home second by 0.07 of a second over Mike Holler. Nagisa Ashikawa, Everett Paddock, Andy Corset, J.W. Miller, and Jason Steinhurst, the 8 cars, finishing on the lead lap here this evening. What an unreal race that one turned out to be. Doing the victory donuts at the line. Jason Owens going to burn them down in a big way. Let's get you your race results here as we wait for everybody to get into the interview room. Jason Owens the winner by 1.5 tenths over James Allen. Mike Holler coming back another 0.5 tenth or so back in the 3rd position. Nagisa Ashikawa, Everett Paddock, your top 5, Andy Corsa, J.W. Miller, Jason Steinhurst, Simon Fell, and Zach Hudson, your top 10. Mike Gossler, Bless Lopez, Frank Wynn, and Greg Seitz round out the field. Not sure if we're going to get our runner-up finisher here tonight, James Allen, but we hopefully will see Mike Holler come on into the room here, but we'll get the rest of the get the cameras all set up here and ready to roll so we can talk to Jason Owens. Let's talk to your race winner here as we replay the white flag lap in super slow-mo. I tell you what there, Mr. Owens, that was certainly exciting down the stretch. Congratulations on a fantastic win here this evening.
Thanks, guys. Man, that was a nail-biter. I think you could see a couple of those guys had lower downforce setups on. I had a pretty high downforce setup on, and they, like, if I couldn't get my run into the turns, they would swarm me on exit. So I just had to kind of fall back and make a couple full send 3-wide passes into one that I really hope you caught on the broadcast.
We did.
Yeah, we saw every bit of it. This was about as close to a pack race as you're going to get without having a ton of banking on the racetrack. What's the different philosophies here in setup? I mean, you talked about running a higher downforce set. Is there a benefit to running higher downforce versus lower downforce?
So for my driving style, I really like the rear end of the car kind of glued into the track. You know, if you kind of watch how Everett and Greg come off the turns, they kind of slide up towards the wall, whereas I like to be more locked down. But obviously, if you got a lower downforce set, you're just going to blow by people on the straightaways. And you saw that where I got shuffled back to like 5th or 6th a couple times and just had to patiently and a couple times impatiently work my way back up. But it's you know, it's all give and take. Like, I love racing with these guys out here. They're some of the cleanest drivers on the series, and I have to go watch the replay. I do not know how I survived that wreck in turn 1. I just kind of had a little intuition and said, I better just lift and hug the wall, and it couldn't have been more than 5 or 10 feet that they went into the wall behind me.
Yeah, it wasn't much, and unfortunately, that took out some very quick cars in Greg Seitz and Frank Wynn, among others that were involved in that incident. How did that change the complexion of the race, losing a couple of the very quick cars at the front of the field?
Well, so in this series, we have 3 ovals, this thing called the Unofficial Oval Championship. The top 3 coming into the final week were Frank, Greg, and I. This is by far the highest SOF of the week, and I was content just kind of racing, having a good time until I realized that Frank and Greg were gone, and then I was like, I gotta win this thing. If I'm gonna have any chance at the Unofficial Oval Championship, I got to get up there and win. And like I said, we got some really clean drivers in this series, and we only had 1 caution, right? Like, I think we put on a darn good show for wheel-to-wheel action.
Oh, you did. You did.
Yeah, that one was... It was tense, exciting, and everything else, and we were doing that from the comfort of the broadcast booth. I can't imagine what it was like in the car. But I tell you what here, bud, it was a fantastic race. I'm interested to hear if you will be running next week with us at the Nürburgring, or if the sim rig's just going to sit quietly for a week while that train wreck happens.
I will probably run. I will probably put on the highest downforce setup I can and putt around in the back and just try and finish and see what that gets me. You know, I'm really trying to work on my roadside craft, and I think next week, even with all the work I've put in and managed to kind of like hang on and stay on the lead lap last week at Montreal, finish is the goal next week on the ring.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, bud. Well, congratulations on the win. Thank you very much for all of your support of the National Racing Network, and make sure you get all the sponsor plugs and thank yous in here.
Yeah, I just want to thank, obviously, iRacing, Extra Life, Riley Children's Hospital, Children's Miracle Network Hospitals, Carolina SimWorks for this absolutely badass rig, and we'll see everybody next week.
All right, Jason. Thank you very much. Let's swap you out here and pick up our 3rd place finisher this evening, Mr. Michael Holler. And I tell you what here, bud, that was about as fantastic of a race as you could have without winning it. Tell us, what it was like from your perspective in the cockpit.
Hey, yeah, good to be here, as it always is. But it was a really strong race. I didn't do a lot of practice before. It's pretty typical for me for ovals, but I did the Indy iRacing series at this track the other day, and it does race differently in the IndyCar, but it's fresh in my mind. I was really enjoying the outside lines here and playing with those in the draft, and it was one of those that just clicked for me, and couldn't believe that I was passing Everett and Greg there on merit. That was a good time.
I was going to say, it's not often that the field is truly equalized like we saw here tonight at Gateway. Is that just a matter of, I don't want to say their lack of experience on ovals, but some guys just take better to ovals. Some drivers have the sets squared away and everything else. What was it that you think kept you right there on pace with the best of the best?
So I felt like I had a good sense of the track, and like I said, the high line was feeling pretty good to me. I think something was definitely different. I think Jason and I were running very similar sets. I think Everett and Greg were running a bit different, maybe higher DF or something, because I felt or maybe I think lower DF actually, because I felt like it was pretty easy to get near him around the corners, and so that maybe slight setup advantage. At least it felt like an advantage to me, and just being able to read the track and what was going on, that felt really good. I'm not usually able to do that on ovals, so it was a victory for me for sure.
Well, it was a very nice run to pick up a third-place finish here this evening, and let's make sure you get all the sponsor plugs and thank yous taken care of here, too.
Yeah, first I want to thank Jason for the really hard racing there. I told him at the end I wanted to get. I knew I had second. I felt I had it locked, and but I still had to try against him. I'm glad I did. Took a position hit on it, but it was worth it. So thanking him for that, and of course James for the great racing too. Thanking Citizens Climate Lobby, my sponsor, are here as well. Really happy with the work that's going on right now, especially with the climate bills that are going through Congress, and trying to help out there the best I can. And of course my fiance, who's probably watched this and saw me pass Greg.
All right, well, that's fantastic. Thank you very much, Mike. We appreciate the time as always here. Looking forward to hopefully talking to you next week. And tell you what here, guys, as we get ready to wrap things up, I can't believe we're down to one race left in 2021 Season 3, but it was interesting. I have to ask you, Everett Paddock, both Jason and Mike talked about the fact that they think Everett was on a little bit lower downforce package. Was that ultimately what hurt him when he got back in the pack a little bit?
Yeah, that is specifically designed to be out in front, because the dirty air, it ruins your downforce, and if you make it a low downforce package, you're losing what little downforce you have. So once Everett got back in, there was nothing he was going to be able to do. It was just absolutely killing his car.
And Seb, to wrap things up here, what are these cars like next week at the Nürburgring? Is that, like Jason said, a matter of try to survive in advance, or are we going to see a ringer or two come out here and really put down some crazy laps?
There's a reason why the Nürburgring is called the Green Hell. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I'm not really experienced at the Nürburgring because I'm just happy if I can just pull a single lap. But yeah, probably a lot of downforce, but not too much because you have the big straight at the end with drafting center. Ugh.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a fun one for sure. And that will wrap up the coverage for the season here on the National Racing Network for the Indy Pro 2000 Championship. And we'll officially crown Greg Seitz a champion next week as well. But with that, we're going to wrap things up here and get ready to get the heck on out of here. Big day for the National Racing Network tomorrow. We kick things off with real-world racing action. We'll be doing some live stuff from New Jersey Motorsports Park, where the real-world Indy Pro 2000 Championship will be joined by the USF 2000s and the Formula Radical North America. That one will be pretty cool. Keep your eye on our socials for a little bit of on-track action from there. Also coming up tomorrow night, we've got a big doubleheader, both Linda's Speedway and Great American Sim Racing doing a 150-lap event for the Tour Modifieds at Phoenix Raceway. That one's going to be an absolute blast. I love that combination of the Modifieds and Phoenix Raceway. And on Sunday night, we're going to crown a champion in the High Slide Cup Series, their final race of the season coming up from the Texas Motor Speedway. With that, we're getting out of here. For James Watson, Sebastian Kinder, my name is Chris Graham. It has been a pleasure to have you hanging out with us here this evening. Looking forward to talking to you all tomorrow and throughout the day. Till then, have a good night, everybody.